Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new Klim Baja S4 gloves. And for those of you out there that might be shopping for a new adventure glove, maybe you're going off-road a little bit more than you are on-road, I think you might want to take a look at the new Bajas. This might be, in the past decade, the first glove from Klim that, as I take them out of the bag and try them on for the first time, they're insanely comfortable. I've always had an issue with Klim's fitments, just always felt a little bit, for lack of a better word, frumpy when it came to the overall fit, but these feel like they were tailored for my hand. So if you are shopping for a new ADV glove, maybe something like the Sand 4, the Sand 5 from RevZilla isn't really what you're looking for anymore, it might be a good time to check out the Baja S4s. It uses a lot of similar materials we've seen from the top sellers out there for a summertime adventure glove. It can get you through some tarmac sections, it can get you into some off-road. It's very comfortable, it's very malleable and maneuverable across the entire glove, so you're not going to have any hindering if you are going for the controls, riding a little bit more aggressively. So keep that in mind, all for that $90 price point. So they do come in sizes ranging from small up to 3 extra large and come in 4 colorways. And talking about the size, I measure my hand just about 8.75 inches in the circumference around the palm. I'm a large in almost every single glove out there on the market, and a size large in these is fitting spot on. Again, as you can see, my hand's moving, tons of maneuverability. I can really grab the controls, do whatever I need to do, but I have that luxury of leather down the interior just for that added protection. But let's talk about some of the features and see if these are right for you. At the base, real big grab loop at the mid cuff. I really dig those, especially if you got sweaty hands. Getting the gloves on is a lot easier with a single Velcro cover with a little bit of leather over top of that and some stretch underneath, so it's not going to bulk up on you. Speaking of stretch, this is a 500 denier. They're calling it their carbonite stretch mesh. We've seen that used in a few other lines throughout their entire lineup when it comes to jackets, so we like that. It's a lot of stretch there with a little bit of reflective angled on the side. It's always good to have reflective, especially if you're going for longer rides. You might be out when the sun sets, you got that little pop of reflective for a little bit of protection, and you do get some foam underneath of the leather at the side with the Klim embossed logo covering the ulna on the outside. Moving down to the knuckles, this is where 3D mesh and a lot of airflow comes into play, but you're also getting a TPR knuckle, which we seem being popular for those that are taking their ADV bikes a little bit more off-road, just because it doesn't compromise the maneuverability of your knuckles and the stretch across the hand, but you do get the flex benefits of TPR, and there is XRD foam underneath there. That's going to be reinforced in a few different areas, but I like that they put it under there because you don't really feel any of the knuckle there. You just feel a nice soft foam underneath, but you get that 3D mesh, you get some more TPR pops, and a whole lot of stretch in the fourchettes in between the fingers just to allow more airflow to go through. But then you start getting some leather introduced at the tips of the fingers, and that's a little bit of perforated leather. It's going to still allow air to go through, but you get that luxury of a more abrasion resistant material. If we look at the side, basically a full side coverage on the outer seam, except for a little gap right here. So Klim, if you're listening, would love to see that, just a full patch up the side. For those of you that don't know, if you go down in the event of an accident, you're kind of prone to either hit on the palm landing zone or on the sides. So you want to make sure that that outer seam is protected. So I dig that 90% of it is protected on these Baja S4s on the outside. But Klim, if you're listening, would love to see a full stretch of leather up that side. Coming down to the palm, full goat leather palm main construction with a ton of perforation, as you can see throughout. You do get touch tech at the tip of the thumb as well as the flat of the index. So if you are pinching and zooming or trying to get GPS locations, or if you're using your RevZilla app, you can go ahead and use those without taking the gloves off, which is always a nice benefit. An additional layer of leather across the palm. That's a heavy wear zone, especially for those riding aggressively off-road. So you want to make sure that that is reinforced for the longevity of the glove. So I like that Klim did that. Popping down to the side, I kind of showed it at the side angle, but wanted to give you a good angle. It's actually probably a little easier if I throw it over here for the camera guy. You do have a TPR palm landing zone. A lot of people tend to prefer a TPU slider just to make sure that it actually slides. I like TPR for off-road, but I can see the argument for a TPU on there. I just wish Klim would have slid either way, slid it up a little bit closer to the palm landing zone. I find that to be right about, like, I'd call it a ½ inch higher from where my hand is designed, but I still like that they're adding it in there. If you go down, you do get that impact protection. There is XRD foam underneath of there. Would have loved to seen it maybe be a TPU though, just to give a little bit more slide if you are crashing, say, on the tarmac instead of off-road. But all in, considering that's kind of my only complaint is the palm slider in the location of it, these gloves are fantastic for the $90 price point. I'm definitely going to be picking these up. They fit comfortably on the hand. I could use these all day, whether I'm ripping our Tiger or at the KTM out there on the trails to get on Adventure Fest or just around the Pines here in Jersey. I'd love these gloves just for flowing all the air through without hindering my hands' movements. But if you you have more questions, or if you want to see what other riders have to say, click that info button. It's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about these gloves. If you still have questions after that, or if you have questions on the sizing, trying to figure out which one is right for you and your hand, give our customer service agents a call. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining me and checking out the all-new Klim Baja S4 gloves. I'm Pat. I'll see you in the next video.